Before we start, comment where you're watching from and what time it is right now. Trust me, you'll want to remember this moment because what you're about to discover about Hong Kong will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about this city. Number 15. The most densely populated nightmare on planet Earth. Picture this. You're standing at the gateway to Southeast China, surrounded by 7.4 million souls crammed into a space smaller than Los Angeles. The air is thick with humidity and desperation. Skyscrapers stab the sky like concrete daggers reaching for heaven but finding only smog. Located in just 1,100 square kilometers, Hong Kong isn't just crowded, it's a human experiment in survival. In Kowloon, bodies are packed 20 times tighter than New York City. The nickname Concrete Jungle isn't poetry, it's a warning label for what happens when capitalism meets claustrophobia. The climate here is classified as humid subtropical monsoon, which sounds scientific until you're drowning in 90% humidity while typhoons hammer the city each year like nature's own wrecking ball. These storms don't just bring rain, they bring chaos, flooding, and the constant reminder that even in this steel fortress, nature still holds the ultimate power. But here's the twist that'll mess with your head. Despite being famous for towering skyscrapers that block out the sun, 40% of Hong Kong's area is designated as natural parks. Beautiful forests and pristine beaches hide right in the middle of this urban hellscape like secrets the city refuses to tell tourists about. The official name is the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of China. It was a British colony until 1997, which explains why this place feels like London had a baby with Shanghai and abandoned it in Asia. It still maintains a separate legal system, currency, and government, creating this bizarre political arrangement where China owns you but pretends not to control you. Here's what makes it even stranger. 92% of the population is Han Chinese, yet Cantonese remains the primary language. But walk through Central or Admiralty, and you'll hear international residents speaking more English than Cantonese, creating this weird multicultural bubble where languages collide like cars in a traffic accident. The question burning in your mind right now, who actually thrives in this golden pressure cooker? Number 14. The millionaire factory that broke every economic rule. Here's a statistic that should terrify every other city on the planet. Hong Kong has over 500,000 millionaires. That means 1 in every 14 people walking past you on the MTR platform has a 7-figure fortune burning a hole in their pocket. Think about that for a second. You're sitting in a restaurant in Central and statistically, someone at the next table is a millionaire. The person checking their phone while waiting for the bus? Probably richer than most small-town mayors back home. This tiny territory, smaller than Los Angeles, has more billionaires than London or Tokyo combined. It's home to some of the wealthiest people on the planet, and their wealth isn't hidden, it's flaunted like a peacock showing off its feathers. Walk down any street in Central and you'll see the evidence bleeding from every corner. Rolls-Royces and Lamborghinis crawl through traffic like metallic predators hunting for parking spots that cost more per hour than most people make in a day. Luxury shopping destinations like the landmark IFC Mall and Harbor City aren't just stores, they're temples where the wealthy worship at the altar of consumption. Exclusive private clubs like the China Club don't just cater to the elite, they create a parallel universe where membership costs more than most people's houses. Ultra-luxurious apartments at the peak don't just cost tens of millions of dollars, they have waiting lists longer than the Great Wall of China because even among millionaires, there's a hierarchy of wealth. Listen, if you're still not subscribed after learning these wealth secrets, you're literally watching money-making knowledge walk away. Hit that subscribe button before this information disappears into the algorithm void forever. Don't be the person who had the blueprint to financial freedom and chose to scroll past it. But here's the real secret weapon that turned Hong Kong into a millionaire manufacturing plant: the tax structure that makes other governments weep with envy. While the United States and Europe bleed their citizens dry with VAT taxes ranging from 10% to 25% on all goods and services, Hong Kong has zero VAT. Zero. Nothing. You buy a luxury handbag, you pay the sticker price. Personal income tax? While the US crushes souls with rates up to 37% and Europe can reach 45%, Hong Kong caps personal income tax at just 15%. But it gets better, or worse depending on your perspective. There's no inheritance tax, so generational wealth passes down like a beautiful disease. No property tax, so your real estate investments aren't eaten alive by government fees. No capital gains tax, so when your investments explode, you keep every penny. These factors don't just help the wealthy retain their income, they create a system where money multiplies faster than rabbits in spring. It's not just tax avoidance, it's government-sponsored wealth acceleration that turns Hong Kong into the world's most efficient millionaire-making machine. But behind all this wealth and power lies a different kind of story about the people who call this golden cage home. Number 13. The women who rewrite every rule you know. Forget everything you think you know about women in Asia. Hong Kong women aren't just different, they're a completely different species that will challenge every stereotype you've ever held. These women embody power, sophistication, and independence in ways that make Western feminism look like amateur hour. Unlike women from mainland China, they possess a unique beauty that blends Eastern elegance with Western confidence. Fair skin that seems to glow under neon lights, slender figures that move through crowds like dancers, an air of elegance that stops conversations, and sharp eyes that can read a balance sheet faster than most accountants. But here's what truly sets them apart. It's not just their appearance that'll leave you speechless, it's their mindset and how they command their world like generals running a war campaign. Watch one of these women order a strong Hong Kong milk tea while simultaneously discussing a $1 million contract over the phone, then walk straight into a boardroom and command the attention of a room full of finance sharks who've been trading currencies since before she was born. In a city where the pace of life moves faster than the MTR trains during rush hour, these women don't just keep up, they lead the charge like warriors heading into battle. They can close deals that would make Wall Street veterans nervous, then switch gears completely and show you a side of Hong Kong that tourists never see. Don't think they're all about boardroom conquests and financial domination. On Saturday mornings, you'll find them hiking Dragon's Back Mountain, breathing in the only clean air Hong Kong has to offer. By afternoon, they're elegantly donning modern Chong Sams while enjoying dim sum at classic Yum Cha restaurants where tradition meets modernity in perfect harmony. When night falls over Victoria Harbour and the city transforms into a neon wonderland, they appear at upscale bars in Lan Kwai Fong. Sipping cocktails with refined grace, but their eyes hold the kind of power that comes from knowing exactly what they want and how to get it. Here's the beautiful contradiction that makes them impossible to predict. They can be daughters born into traditional families where Sunday dinner is still a sacred ritual with 3 generations around the table. But they can also thrive alone in luxurious studio apartments worth more than most people's retirement funds, defining their own way of living without asking permission from anyone. They are modern without losing touch with tradition. They are independent without being cold. They are successful without being ruthless. In summary, Hong Kong women are not the type you can easily predict or control. They can astonish you with their business acumen, captivate you with their sophistication, and before you even realize what's happening, you'll be completely drawn into their world like a moth to a flame. But here's the catch that'll humble even the most confident men. Their standards for partners are sky high. These women have options and they know it. They're looking for someone who can match their energy, intelligence, and ambition. Think you have what it takes to win them over? If you want us to share some insider tips on how to impress Hong Kong women without making a fool of yourself, leave a comment with the number 8 and we'll reveal the secrets that most men never learn. But behind the glamour and success of Hong Kong's elite lies the city's darkest, most disturbing secret. Number 12. Inside Hong Kong's coffin-sized hell where dreams go to die. Hong Kong boasts over 8,000 skyscrapers piercing the sky like needles, more than New York City could ever dream of having. It's officially the city with the most tall buildings in the world, a vertical metropolis that seems to defy gravity itself. But here's the brutal truth they don't put in the tourism brochures. Behind those dazzling lights and Instagram-worthy skyline shots lies a housing horror story that would make prison cells look luxurious. Sky-high property prices have turned rooms as small as 2 to 3 square meters into the last resort for thousands of low-income workers. They call them coffin apartments, and the name isn't metaphorical, it's literally accurate. Imagine this nightmare. You're living in a space smaller than most people's bathrooms. Just big enough to lie down but not long enough to stretch your legs. Inside this human storage unit, there's only a bunk bed, a small fan that moves hot air around like a broken promise, and a few personal items piled up like the remnants of a life that once had bigger dreams. There are hardly any windows, which means no natural light ever touches your skin. No privacy exists because your room is separated from your neighbors by walls thinner than cardboard. The bathroom is shared with dozens of other desperate souls in old buildings that should have been condemned decades ago. The statistics will make you question everything you know about human dignity. Over 200,000 people in Hong Kong are living in these matchbox apartments right now. That's more people than live in some entire cities, trapped in spaces that wouldn't be legal to keep animals in most countries. Here's how the greed works. A 40 square meter apartment gets divided into 20 rooms, each measuring just 1.5 square meters. That's smaller than a motorcycle parking spot, yet rent remains criminally high, ranging from $200 to $300 per month. To put that in perspective, That's comparable to a fully furnished apartment in many other countries where you can actually stand up straight and breathe freely. In these cramped spaces that mock the concept of human dignity, eating becomes a luxury and personal activities become impossible dreams. Food has to be stored under the bed since there's no private kitchen, just the shared fantasy that you're living like a human being instead of inventory in a warehouse. Living in such conditions, freedom becomes a distant memory you can barely recall. Personal space is a privilege reserved for people who can afford to be treated like humans instead of commodities to be stored as efficiently as possible. The Hong Kong government has experimented with high-style micro-apartments, but don't be fooled by the marketing language. These are just a more expensive version of the same problem. Tiny spaces with exorbitant rents designed to extract maximum profit from human desperation. Could you survive in a place like this? Comment 2, if you think you could handle living in a coffin apartment, or comment 3, if the very thought makes you claustrophobic. Your answer might reveal more about your privilege than you're ready to admit. But even in this urban purgatory where humanity gets compressed into storage units, life somehow finds a way to pulse with unexpected rhythm and stubborn hope. Number 11. Life in Hong Kong, the city that pulses instead of sleeps. Hong Kong is a city that never sleeps, but that phrase doesn't capture the full madness. This isn't just insomnia, it's a place where skyscrapers stand shoulder to shoulder like soldiers in formation, and bright neon lights reflect off wet pavement after sudden rain showers that come and go like emotional breakdowns. Life here is both bustling and strangely peaceful, like being inside a storm that's learned to meditate. The contradiction will mess with your mind until you realize that Hong Kong doesn't follow normal rules. It creates its own reality and forces everyone else to adapt. Stand on a pedestrian bridge in Central during rush hour and you'll witness something that looks like a scene from a dystopian movie. A torrent of people flows below you, all in a hurry, all with a purpose, all moving with the kind of determination that comes from knowing that slowing down means getting left behind. This is Hong Kong's defining characteristic. Always moving forward, never slowing down, never apologizing for the pace that breaks weaker souls. But here's where the magic reveals itself. If you turn into a small alley just steps away from that human river, you might discover traditional tea shops where elderly locals leisurely sip strong milk tea that could wake the dead. They read newspapers with the kind of patience that seems impossible in this city, discussing current events as if time moves differently in their bubble of calm. In the morning, the city awakens not to alarm clocks but to the calls of traditional dim sum vendors whose voices cut through traffic noise like musical knives. The rich aroma of Hong Kong milk tea mingles with exhaust fumes, creating a scent that could only exist here. The slow rumble of vintage ding-ding trams glides through bustling streets since dawn, carrying passengers who've mastered the art of being still while everything around them moves at light speed. Hong Kong culture is this intriguing blend of East and West that shouldn't work but somehow creates its own perfect chaos. Night markets like Temple Street come alive after dark, filled with the sounds of haggling between buyers and sellers who treat negotiation like performance art. The scent of roasted duck wafts through the air like an invitation to gluttony, while just a few blocks away, lively European-style bars pump out music that would fit perfectly in London or New York. The people here are extremely practical in ways that would make philosophers weep with envy. They work harder than most machines, but they also know how to enjoy life with an intensity that makes every moment count. They'll stand in line for hours to buy a famous egg tart that lasts 30 seconds to eat, or hike up the peak just to watch a stunning sunset paint Victoria Harbour in colors that don't exist anywhere else on Earth. Even though Hong Kong ranks as one of the most expensive cities in the world, where money evaporates faster than water in the desert, it still has quiet corners that feel like secrets. Ancient temples hide amidst bustling streets where you can find a few moments of peace amid the beautiful chaos that defines daily existence here. Hong Kong may not be an easy city to live in, it demands everything from you and promises nothing in return. But once you fall in love with its contradictions and impossibilities, escape becomes impossible. The city gets into your blood like a beautiful addiction you never want to cure. But nothing in Hong Kong's chaotic history prepared it for its most lawless chapter. Number 10. The Walled City, once the most lawless place in the world. From the 1950s until 1994, around 50,000 people lived and worked in what can only be described as urban hell made flesh. This was Kowloon Walled City, and it defied every law of physics, government, and human decency while somehow functioning better than most organized societies. Picture this nightmare. 300 buildings stacked so closely together that sunlight couldn't penetrate the maze of concrete and desperation below. The narrow alleys were so tight that only one person could pass through at a time, creating a human traffic system that would make subway designers weep with frustration. Located in northern Hong Kong, Kowloon Walled City was a densely populated residential area that was governed by no authority whatsoever. No police patrol. No government oversight. No laws except the ones people made up as they went along. It was anarchy with apartment numbers. Originally a military outpost, the area evolved into a housing complex with 300 interconnected high-rise buildings after World War II brought a massive influx of immigrants from China. Housing shortages created desperation, and desperation created opportunity for entrepreneurs and landowners who built upward since they couldn't build outward. At its peak, about 50,000 people lived in this concrete organism covering just 2.6 hectares, equivalent to a football field. Do the math, and the population density was 20 times that of New York City. Kowloon wasn't just crowded, it was the most densely populated place on Earth, a human experiment that shouldn't have survived but somehow thrived. Here's the part that will blow your mind. Despite the complete lack of police and government oversight, this urban chaos still had shops that sold everything you could imagine, clinics that treated patients without medical licenses, schools that taught children while buildings crumbled around them, and spontaneous economic activities that created their own underground economy. The community developed its own rules through necessity and survival instinct. Without official law enforcement, residents created informal systems of justice and cooperation. Disputes were settled by community elders, businesses flourished through handshake agreements, and children played in corridors that existed in legal limbo. In 1993 to 1994, the Hong Kong and Chinese governments finally collaborated to clear the area. They relocated residents and completely demolished the cramped buildings that had housed more people per square meter than anywhere else in human history. Stories like this disappear from history every single day because people don't subscribe to channels that preserve them. Right now, you're learning about something that most people will never know existed. Don't let incredible human stories vanish into the algorithm void. Hit subscribe now, or comment below about why you're willing to let these amazing pieces of history die with you. Where chaos once reigned supreme, they constructed Kowloon Walled City Park, designed in the style of a traditional Chinese garden. It's now an important tourist destination and historical site that attracts visitors who photograph peaceful flowers and manicured lawns, never knowing they're standing on the grave of the most densely populated place Earth ever spawned. When you visit Kowloon Walled City Park today, you'll experience serene beauty that stands in stark contrast to the chaos and overcrowding that once made this place legendary. The transformation from urban nightmare to peaceful paradise represents Hong Kong's ability to reinvent itself completely while burying its most fascinating secrets under pretty landscaping. But even as Hong Kong demolished its most lawless district, the city's relationship with ancient mystical powers grew stronger. Number 9. The ancient power that still rules Hong Kong's modern empire. In Hong Kong, feng shui isn't just a belief, it's a business strategy that controls billions of dollars and influences decisions that shape the entire city's destiny. From towering skyscrapers to tiny apartments, from multinational corporations to McDonald's franchises, everything is arranged to attract good fortune and channel cosmic energy like a massive spiritual machine. Major corporations like HSBC and the Bank of China didn't just spend millions designing their headquarters, they spent millions consulting feng shui masters to ensure that the flow of wealth would never be blocked by bad energy. These aren't small decorative changes. These are fundamental architectural decisions that affect how billions of dollars move through the city. HSBC's building features massive escalators that carry energy upward and 2 bronze lions that guard the entrance like spiritual bouncers. The Bank of China Tower, designed by Pei, incorporates sharp angles and reflective surfaces that are supposed to deflect negative energy while concentrating positive financial chi. But it goes deeper than just corporate headquarters. Even McDonald's in Hong Kong adjusts its store layouts based on feng shui principles to draw in customers and maximize profit. Golden arches aren't just branding, they're energy conductors designed to create prosperity. When buying a home, choosing a phone number, getting a license plate, or even arranging their bed, the people of Hong Kong consider feng shui as seriously as they consider mortgage rates and interest payments. The number 8 symbolizes prosperity and good fortune, while the number 4 is avoided like radioactive waste because it sounds like the Cantonese word for death. This isn't just superstition, it's economics. Buildings in Hong Kong skip the 4th, 14th, and 24th floors entirely, which affects property values, rental rates, and how entire skyscrapers are designed. Real estate developers lose money on missing floors but make it back through increased demand for lucky floor numbers. Even in corporate culture, arranging desks according to feng shui principles is extremely important for career advancement and business success. CEOs often consult feng shui experts before making major decisions about mergers, acquisitions, or office relocations. This isn't casual consultation. It's strategic planning that can determine whether deals worth hundreds of millions succeed or fail. Some billionaires like Li Ka-shing, one of Asia's richest men, are willing to spend millions relocating entire offices just to optimize feng shui and ensure continued financial success. When someone worth tens of billions takes feng shui seriously enough to move corporate headquarters, you know this isn't just cultural decoration. What about you? Do you believe in feng shui, or do you think it's just expensive superstition? Comment 2 if you believe in the power of feng shui, or comment 3 if you think it's all psychological placebo effect. But beyond the mystical energy and cosmic forces lies Hong Kong's collection of world-famous attractions that blend ancient wisdom with modern spectacle. Number 8. The most famous tourist attractions that define Hong Kong. After discovering the amazing and extraordinary hidden secrets of Hong Kong, you can't leave without experiencing the city's most famous attractions that showcase why this place captures imaginations and breaks hearts worldwide. If there's one place that perfectly showcases the impossible beauty of Hong Kong, it's Victoria Peak. This is the highest point in the city where you can enjoy panoramic views that make expensive camera equipment feel inadequate. From up here you see skyscrapers stretching to the horizon, the brilliantly lit Victoria Harbour sparkling like scattered diamonds, and lush green mountains that remind you that nature still exists in this concrete empire. The most exciting way to reach the top is by taking the Peak Tram, an old funicular railway with a nearly vertical incline that makes your stomach drop and your heart race. The journey up feels like you're soaring above the city in a metal bird, watching Hong Kong shrink below you until it becomes a perfect miniature of urban ambition. Another must-visit destination is Disneyland Hong Kong, where you don't need to fly to the United States or France to experience Disney magic with an Asian twist. Although it's smaller than its American counterpart, it uniquely blends Western fantasy with Asian culture in ways that create entirely new experiences. The park features dedicated areas for Marvel superheroes and Star Wars characters, along with impressive fireworks displays every evening that turn the sky into a canvas of light and wonder. But here's what makes it special. It's the only Disneyland in the world with a restaurant serving Mickey-shaped dim sum, because even Disney has to bow to Hong Kong's food culture. If Hollywood has the Walk of Fame, Hong Kong has the Avenue of Stars, a place that honors film legends like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Chow Yun-fat, who turned Hong Kong cinema into a global phenomenon. The highlight is the legendary statue of Bruce Lee, where millions of tourists pose annually, throwing punches and kicks while trying to channel kung fu energy that will never match the original master. In the evening, the Avenue of Stars becomes one of the best spots to view the Symphony of Lights, a laser light show that transforms the skyscrapers along Victoria Harbour into a synchronized orchestra of color and music. Buildings become instruments, lights become notes, and the entire harbour becomes a concert hall under the stars. Amidst a Hong Kong filled with skyscrapers that block out the sun, few people expect to find a beautiful artificial beach right in the city center. Repulse Bay is where urban impossibility meets tropical fantasy, soft white sand, clear blue waters, and luxurious beachfront cafes, all just a few minutes' drive from the financial district where billions change hands daily. It's also a popular check-in spot for young Hong Kong residents who want to swim while admiring the towering buildings behind them. Where else can you build sandcastles while skyscrapers watch over you like concrete lifeguards? Overall, Hong Kong isn't just a modern city, it's a destination full of experiences that shouldn't exist but somehow create magic that feels more real than reality itself. Number 7. Asia's sleepless shopping paradise that never stops taking your money. Hong Kong isn't just home to some of the most magnificent shopping malls in the world, it's a place where retail therapy becomes a full-contact sport and your wallet becomes a casualty of economic warfare. This city has cracked the code on consumer desire. No import tariffs and no value-added tax (VAT) make the prices of goods here much more competitive compared to New York or London. It's not just cheaper, it's criminally affordable for luxury items that would bankrupt you in other major cities. Fashion enthusiasts don't just visit Hong Kong, they make pilgrimages to the Louis Vuitton, Chanel and Rolex stores in Central and Tsim Sha Tsui, where luxury handbags and watches are priced lower than anywhere else on earth. These aren't sales or special promotions. This is just Hong Kong's normal competitive advantage that makes other luxury markets weep with envy. But if you love the art of negotiation and the thrill of the hunt, the Ladies' Market in Mongkok and Temple Street Night Market become your personal paradise. These aren't just shopping areas, they're battlefields where you can shop for trendy clothes, unique souvenirs and quirky electronics at prices that defy the basic laws of economics. The city is also famous for its stores that stay open late into the night, especially during major holidays like Black Friday or Lunar New Year. When other cities sleep, Hong Kong's retail warriors come alive, launching significant discounts that turn the entire city into a shopping haven where credit cards go to die and bank accounts get emptied with surgical precision. The night markets don't just stay busy, they become pulsing ecosystems of commerce where vendors and customers engage in price negotiations that sound like heated arguments but are actually elaborate dances of mutual respect and economic survival. But here's where it gets truly insane. If you think the night markets are bustling, visit the duty-free shops at Hong Kong International Airport. Travelers willingly stand in lines longer than immigration queues just to snag a Hermes bag before boarding their flights home. The airport isn't just a transit hub, it's a final opportunity to participate in Hong Kong's retail religion before returning to countries where luxury costs what it's supposed to cost. Shopping in Hong Kong isn't recreation, it's a lifestyle, an addiction, and a sport where everyone wins except your savings account. Number 6. Hong Kong people are crazy about milk tea, the liquid addiction. In the United States, coffee reigns supreme as the fuel that powers productivity and social interaction. But in Hong Kong, milk tea isn't just a drink, it's part of the city's DNA, its rhythm, and its soul. Unlike the sweet, creamy milk tea from Taiwan that tastes like dessert, Hong Kong milk tea is strong, bold, and slightly bitter. It mirrors the city itself, fast-paced, uncompromising, and addictive in ways that get into your bloodstream and never leave. What makes it unique isn't just the taste, it's the brewing process that borders on ritual. The tea is filtered through a special cloth that resembles silk stockings, which gives the drink a smoother texture and earns it the nickname, silk stocking milk tea. This isn't just preparation, it's alchemy. The process involves blending 4 to 6 types of black tea that are continuously brewed and combined with carnation condensed milk to create a richness that's unmatched by any other tea on earth. Each tea shop has its own secret ratios and brewing times, passed down through generations like family recipes that determine success or failure. Hong Kong people take their milk tea seriously enough to host national competitions to find the best tea maker in the city. These aren't casual contests, they're serious events where reputations are made and destroyed, and winning can launch careers or establish legendary status in the food industry. Millions of cups are consumed daily, from humble cha-chan tangs, tea restaurants, to upscale restaurants where milk tea costs as much as wine. People in Hong Kong can enjoy this liquid addiction at any time of day, whether it's breakfast fuel, lunch companion, afternoon pick-me-up, or even at midnight after a night out when normal people would be drinking water. If you want to try something truly Hong Kong, order the Yin Yang, a mix of milk tea and coffee that creates the strongest caffeine knockout the city has to offer. It's not just a drink, it's a chemical weapon designed to keep people functioning in a city that never stops demanding more energy, more focus, more everything. The obsession with milk tea reveals something deeper about Hong Kong's character. Even their beverages are extreme, uncompromising, and designed to fuel a lifestyle that would burn out weaker souls. Number 5. One of the most expensive cities in the world where dreams cost everything. Hong Kong isn't just a vibrant metropolis, it's one of the most expensive cities in the world where the cost of living can leave even New Yorkers and San Francisco residents speechless and financially traumatized. First and foremost is rent, which doesn't just cost money, it devours entire paychecks with surgical precision. A one-bedroom apartment in central areas like Central or Wan Chai can cost between $3,000 and $5,000 per month. That's mortgage money for a house in most other places, but here it gets you a small box where you can hear your neighbors breathing through paper-thin walls. Even smaller apartments further from the center, such as in Tsuen Wan or Tuen Mun, still range from $1,500 to $2,500 per month. You're paying premium prices for the privilege of commuting longer distances to earn the money needed to pay rent that consumes most of your income. Utility costs, including electricity and water, typically run from $100 to $200 per month, which might seem reasonable until you realize that most apartments are so small that you're paying premium rates to power spaces the size of walk-in closets. High-speed internet for work adds another $50 to $80 per month, because even digital connectivity comes at a premium in this expensive paradise. Dining out isn't just expensive, it's financially dangerous. A simple dinner at a casual restaurant costs about $10 to $15, while a quality meal at a nicer restaurant in Central will set you back around $50 to $100 per person. These aren't special occasion prices. This is what normal eating costs when you live in one of the world's financial capitals. Cooking at home might seem like a budget-friendly option, but imported food in Hong Kong is very expensive due to the city's dependence on external suppliers. A liter of milk can cost $4 to $5, a loaf of bread ranges around $3 to $6, and good quality beef costs at least $20 to $30 per pound. Even basic groceries become luxury purchases that require careful budgeting and strategic shopping. For transportation, an octopus card for MTR, buses, and ferries costs about $80 to $130 per month. While the public transportation system is excellent, you're paying first-world prices for the convenience of moving around in a city where owning a car is financially impossible for most people. Other expenses add up quickly and ruthlessly. Gym memberships range from $100 to $150 per month for basic facilities, while high-end fitness centers can charge around $300 per month for the privilege of exercising in spaces that cost more than most people's rent elsewhere. Even healthcare, despite being relatively affordable compared to the United States, still costs money. A routine dental checkup can cost between $100 and $200, which is reasonable by international standards but still represents a significant expense when your rent is already consuming most of your income. Overall, the monthly living expenses for a single person in Hong Kong can range from $3,500 to $7,000, depending on spending habits and lifestyle choices. This is higher than living costs in New York and London, making Hong Kong one of the most expensive places on earth to maintain a basic standard of living. With these crushing costs that would break most people's financial backs, would you choose to settle in Hong Kong? Comment 1 if you'd pay these prices to live in this urban paradise, or comment 0 if the financial reality makes your wallet cry. Please share your answer in the comments. We're genuinely curious about your financial pain tolerance. But despite these soul-crushing expenses, Hong Kong offers something that might make the cost worthwhile. Number 4, a city with great security and an excellent healthcare system. If you're looking for a city that combines safety with world-class healthcare in ways that make other major cities look like dangerous medical wastelands, Hong Kong is the ideal place that somehow gets both things right. It boasts one of the lowest crime rates in the world, so low that the statistics look like mathematical errors. You can walk alone at 2 a.m. through the narrow alleys of Mongkok, traditionally one of the most crowded areas, without worrying about anything worse than bumping into late-night food vendors or people heading home from karaoke sessions. Hong Kong is also famous for its extensive surveillance system that includes over 50,000 security cameras throughout the city, ensuring maximum safety through technology that watches everything while maintaining the kind of order that makes other cities jealous. This isn't just passive monitoring, it's active crime prevention that works so well it makes safety feel effortless. Emergency services operate with efficiency that borders on the supernatural. A call to 999, equivalent to 911 in the United States, can get police to the scene in under 5 minutes, even during rush hour traffic that would paralyze emergency response in other major cities. But here's where Hong Kong really shines. The healthcare system is one of the best in the world, ranked alongside those in the United States and Europe, but at a fraction of the cost that would bankrupt American patients. A visit to a public hospital costs only $7. That's not a typo. $7 for medical care that would cost hundreds or thousands in the United States. A night stay in the hospital costs just $13, so affordable it seems impossible until you experience it yourself. Don't confuse these low costs with inferior quality, that would be a dangerous mistake. Public hospitals in Hong Kong are equipped with state-of-the-art medical facilities and staffed by doctors who are trained at prestigious universities around the world. The medical technology and treatment standards match or exceed what you'd find in the most expensive private hospitals elsewhere. The results speak for themselves. The average life expectancy of Hong Kong residents is currently the highest in the world at over 85 years. People here don't just live longer, they live healthier lives with access to medical care that prevents problems instead of just treating them after they become emergencies. What about private healthcare for those who want premium service? A private consultation can cost between $100 to $300, but with private insurance, you can receive healthcare services comparable to those in the United States or the United Kingdom at significantly lower costs and without the bureaucratic nightmares that plague other healthcare systems. Hong Kong has managed to create a healthcare system that actually works for everyone regardless of income level, while maintaining standards that make other countries' medical systems look primitive by comparison. Number 3, the largest gold and jewelry export hub in the world. Here's something that will blow your mind about economic strategy. Hong Kong has no gold mines, no precious metal deposits, and no natural resources related to jewelry production. Yet it's one of the largest gold and jewelry export centers in the world, moving billions of dollars in precious metals and gems annually. The secret lies in 3 factors that create perfect economic alchemy. tax exemptions that make competitors weep, a strategic location that controls trade routes, and a world-class jewelry manufacturing industry that turns raw materials into luxury dreams. As the trade gateway between East and West, Hong Kong allows gold to be imported from powerhouses like Switzerland, South Africa, and China without imposing any import duties or VAT. This makes the city a paradise for gold trading that attracts international investors and major brands who buy and sell precious metals like they're trading baseball cards. After being refined and crafted by master artisans who've perfected techniques passed down through generations, gold jewelry is quickly exported to massive markets like China, the United States, and Europe. Hong Kong doesn't just move gold, it transforms it into art that commands premium prices worldwide. What truly sets Hong Kong apart isn't just the gold trade, but also its top-notch jewelry craftsmanship that rivals anything produced in Europe or America. Brands like Chow Tai Fook and Luk Fook dominate the Asian market while directly competing with Cartier and Tiffany & Company on the global stage. The proof of Hong Kong's jewelry dominance? A diamond ring worth over $10 million was sold from a jewelry store here, surpassing sales records from many European luxury brands and proving that Hong Kong's jewelry industry doesn't just compete, it dominates. This is pure economic genius, taking raw materials from around the world, adding Hong Kong expertise and tax advantages, then exporting finished luxury goods at premium prices. It's capitalism operating at maximum efficiency. Number 2, the city of the hardest working people in the world. Hong Kong has one of the highest work intensities on the planet, where the concept of work-life balance goes to die and productivity becomes a religion practiced by millions of devoted worshippers. On average, an employee here works 44 to 50 hours per week, which is already more than workers in the United States, the United Kingdom, or Japan. But that's just the baseline for normal people with normal jobs and normal ambitions. In industries like finance, banking, and law, the sectors that make Hong Kong's economy purr like a well-oiled money machine, this number can soar to 60 to 80 hours per week. Some companies operate during major holidays when the rest of the world is relaxing, because in Hong Kong, taking time off means falling behind competitors who never sleep. Here's the part that would make labor unions in other countries declare war. Hong Kong has no laws limiting working hours. Working late or on weekends isn't just common, it's expected, normalized, and often rewarded with career advancement and financial bonuses. The fast pace of life and fierce competition mean that many people have learned to eat lunch in just 10 to 15 minutes. Not because they want to, but because spending more time eating means spending less time working, and spending less time working means falling behind people who are willing to sacrifice everything for success. But here's why people accept this grinding lifestyle. High salaries, abundant opportunities for advancement, and Hong Kong's status as a global financial hub make the city an attractive destination for those looking to challenge themselves and potentially achieve wealth that would be impossible elsewhere. Hong Kong doesn't just demand hard work, it rewards it with opportunities and compensation that can transform lives, build generational wealth, and provide access to experiences that justify the sacrifice of time, energy, and sometimes health. The city operates on a simple principle: work harder than everyone else, earn more than everyone else, and accept that this trade-off defines your entire existence. Number 1. Cuisine and traditional festivals that feed the soul. If Hong Kong pulses with energy all year round, it becomes an absolute explosion of color, sound, and flavor during festival seasons when the entire city transforms into a celebration that assaults every sense in the most beautiful way possible. Lunar New Year is the biggest event of the year, when the entire city drowns in lucky red decorations that cover every surface like beautiful graffiti. Fireworks light up Victoria Harbour in displays that make other city celebrations look like amateur hour, and lively lion dance parades fill the streets with acrobatic performances that blend athleticism with ancient spiritual traditions. Families exchange red envelopes called Lai Si, but here's a cultural rule that trips up visitors: only married people can give them, while singles can only receive them. It's a tradition that reinforces social hierarchies while distributing wealth in ways that make single people both grateful and slightly resentful. Equally grand is the Dragon Boat Festival, an event that has been captivating millions for over 2,000 years with the kind of spectacle that modern entertainment can never replicate. Hundreds of strong paddlers glide across the water, chanting in rhythm to pounding drums that echo across the harbor, creating scenes that are both dramatic and beautiful enough to make grown adults weep with emotion. But Hong Kong's real soul lives in its food culture, where each dish tells its own story of survival, adaptation, and culinary excellence that has evolved over generations of cooks who treated cooking like art and eating like worship. Dim sum is the soul of the city, featuring steaming bamboo baskets filled with har gow, shrimp dumplings, and char siu bao, barbecue pork buns, that are enjoyed alongside tea in the unique yum cha culture where meals become social events that can last for hours. For something more substantial, Hong Kong roast goose will leave you mesmerized with its crispy skin that crackles when you bite it, tender meat that falls apart in your mouth, and rich flavor from secret marinades that have been refined over decades of competition between restaurants. Simple yet exquisite, wonton noodles represent Hong Kong's ability to perfect simplicity. Golden, chewy noodles paired with sweet shrimp dumplings, served in clear broth made from pork bones and dried shrimp that's been simmered for hours to extract every molecule of flavor. And if you want to experience Hong Kong in the most authentic street-style way possible, try curry beef balls, a legendary snack featuring chewy beef balls soaked in mildly spicy curry sauce that's often sold alongside fish balls and fish cakes at street stalls where cooking becomes performance art and eating becomes participation in Hong Kong's culinary democracy. We've just shattered 15 myths and revealed the hidden truths about Hong Kong together. This city isn't just a destination. It's a living contradiction that defies logic while dominating the world through sheer force of human ambition and economic brilliance. If these secrets changed how you see Hong Kong forever, obliterate that like button, subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who needs their worldview completely reconstructed. The algorithm gods are watching, and they decide whether these incredible truths reach more people or disappear into the digital void where amazing stories go to die. Don't let this knowledge end with you. Spread it like the valuable information currency it actually is. See you in the next mind-bending journey where we'll destroy more assumptions and reveal more secrets that most people will never discover.